Hey, welcome and welcome back to the channel once again, my dear internet friends. If you're considering buying the Shure SM57 as a budget option for your content creation, I strongly recommend you to watch this video till the end. I will explain to you why you shouldn't buy the Shure SM57 as your first or your only microphone for your content creation needs. Understanding what you want the microphone to do for you is the first step in the mic selection process. I've been creating several talking head videos, voiceovers and live streams over the past couple of years, and selecting the right mic for the application was a journey that recently came to an end. The Shure SM57 was one of the mics that I tried and tested, which cost me more than what the internet mentions, and also it isn't as versatile as the other options I will discuss in this video. Let's address the price situation first. The Shure SM57 costs about $99 US. It might come with a windscreen like this in the picture, or as the internet recommends, to get the sound signature close to the Shure SM7B, you would want to get the Shure A81WS, which is about $41 US. To avoid any handling noise, which this microphone is super poor in handling it, you will need a shock mount like the Shure A55M, which costs about $29 US. You will not be able to plug the Shure SM57 directly into your computer or your phone to use it. You will need an audio interface like the bestseller, the Focusrite Scarlett, which is about $219 US. If you are a solo content creator, you may look into the PreSonus AudioBox Go USB-C audio interface, which just has one XLR mic input and costs about $78 US. This probably is the cheapest good one that I can find. I am using an audio interface recorder, the Zoom F3, which records the audio in 32-bit float without the need for a computer. This device costs about $330 US. I will tell you why I chose this over the other options in a different video. For this video, let's stick with the cheapest options. Now that we have everything to record the audio using the Shure SM57, you will notice that you need to crank up the gain to the max on your audio interface to get sufficient volume from the microphone. This is because the Shure SM57 is a gain-hungry mic and you will need as much gain as possible. To make the signal cleaner and to avoid high sound hiss at high gain levels, there are inline microphone preamplifiers that provide additional 25 decibels of gain on top of the gain provided by the audio interface. There are several brands that make them, but the one I have here is the SE Electronics Dynamite DM1, which costs about $86 US. There is also Fathead, which costs about $75 US. Both essentially do the same job, but while testing these two preamps for my solo setup, I find that the SE Electronics is more consistent in the waveform when I'm silent, meaning when I don't speak, there isn't any additional hiss. These are all you need to start using your Shure SM57 for your mic requirements. In total, it costs about $333 US for this basic audio setup to record audio in 24-bit in your computer. Remember the 32-bit float audio that I talked about? Yeah, if you were to record in 32-bit float, you have a good chance to get back the audio signals even when they are peaked, given that the sound pressure doesn't exceed the mic's rated pressure levels. The Shure SM57 sure can handle very high sound levels even when placed up close to the sound source, and that's why it is called an instrument microphone. Using it for the voice is acceptable, but it is definitely not made for it. Then why does the internet recommend the Shure SM57 as the budget mic to start your content creation game? Hold on to that thought. I will get back to that in a while. Now that we have covered the cost of ownership of the microphone and the required accessories to get it running as it should, let's talk about the alternatives that will actually help you save cost and to be more versatile and to get much better quality, especially for your voice. I would recommend the Rode NT1 Gen5 as the first mic for talking head videos or voiceover content creators. It can be used for the live streaming and podcast purpose as well, but I have a better recommendation for that. The Rode NT1 Gen5 condenser microphone costing about $250 US seemed to be expensive compared to the $99 US Shure SM57. But if you were to consider the fact that this microphone is a pure plug-and-play microphone without the need to purchase any additional accessories to make it function as it should, the cost is justified. Before I talk about the sound differences between the Rode NT1 Gen5 and the Shure SM57, let me show you how versatile this microphone can be. The XLR connector of the Rode NT1 Gen5 is hiding a USB Type-C connector which can be used to connect the mic with a computer or a mobile phone. The mic is instantly recognized by these devices. Once the mic is set to the default input device in your computer or your smartphone, you can start using this microphone to record sounds. It is as simple as that. It doesn't require any additional power when used as a USB microphone. When used as an XLR microphone, it does require a 48-volt phantom power just like the Shure SM57, but since it is a condenser microphone, it doesn't require an inline preamp for the gain boost. Also, if you had noticed the surrounding noise from the Rode NT1 Gen5, it is much lower compared to the Shure SM57. Since the Rode NT1 Gen5 is a condenser microphone, you don't even have to go as close to the mic as you should with the dynamic Shure SM57 mic. Ideally, the Rode NT1 Gen5 need to be within 6 to 9 inches from the sound source. Additionally, the Rode NT1 Gen5 comes with its set of accessories which makes the mic even more worth what you pay for. The accessories which come with the Rode NT1 Gen5 include two very long cables, one USB Type-C to Type-C cable and a 3-pin XLR cable, a shock mount and a pop filter. Now for the sound quality, I personally feel like the sound from the Rode NT1 Gen5 is much more immersive than the Shure SM57. Since you have heard them both in this video, I will let you choose which one you like better. The handling noise of the Rode NT1 Gen5 is much lower than the Shure SM57. To summarize, if you're buying your mic for your studio environment, buying a Rode NT1 Gen5 makes much more sense than the Shure SM57 economically and functionally, as when you buy the mic, you can start using it right away. Of course, I should tell you that the Rode NT1 Gen5 sounds better when connected via XLR cable. So perhaps you can additionally invest in a $78 audio interface, which can take the total price of the audio setup to $327. Now for the outdoor or podcast or live stream applications, I am going to recommend something that's super unconventional. You see, even though the Shure SM57 looks like a handheld mic, it isn't. You might have seen a lot of people use it, but none handheld. The mic would mostly stay on a mic stand. Now to the part of why the Shure SM57 is so popular. It is a tank with minimum circuitry, meaning less parts to break and fewer parts to replace. So in terms of longevity, the Shure SM57 will last for decades. It handles a lot of abuse, and we have heard its sound signature pretty much everywhere. It is also well known as the White House microphone, as a lot of presidents have spoken into them in public meetings. It is just a popular mic as it just works. It is a nice story, but the truth is there are several audio veterans who made this mic work. As we saw earlier, it requires a lot of supporting accessories just for it to function. Even with all that, you will still need to learn the skill to set adequate gain levels at different locations according to the surroundings and learn to process the audio in the post from challenging situations. Regarding the Rode NT1 Gen5, the story is twofold. Although you can technically plug in the mic into any computer or mobile phone, you can't get the 32-bit float audio recording unless you have a supported sound card that can drive it. In which case you will be limited to 24-bit audio and you will have to be cautious with the gain levels. By the way, the newer MacBooks support 32-bit float audio recording by default. Though the Rode NT1 Gen5 is a studio microphone, it can be used in outdoors as well. But the thing is, it requires an additional recording device, which would be challenging when it comes to portability unless you're using something like the Zoom F3. That's where the Sennheiser MKE600 comes to the picture. Costing about $300, it is quite expensive compared to the other two. Why are we even talking about this microphone for a budget option then? For one, it is a shotgun mic with a super cardioid polar pattern which can be powered with a single AA battery and can output audio signal via XLR cable to XLR or XLR to 3.5mm jack cables. This versatility allows this mic to be used in a variety of configurations. Although it is made to be a camera mount mic with a sleek shock mount it comes with, it can be used with a computer, with a recorder like a DJI Mic 2 transmitter or Zoom F3. Since the Zoom F3 is also an audio interface, it can be used as a microphone input to a variety of applications like podcasts and live streams, and it is pretty good at it. Just listen to this audio sample. I'm super happy with this quality. Now for these applications, this is how the Shure SM57 with the Shure A81WS sounds. The output has a weird digital noise which I find it super annoying. If I turn off the noise suppression, the ambient sound is pretty high. So I wouldn't dare turning off the noise suppression for the live stream or podcast. This is the audio sample from the Shure SM57 with just a pop filter without the Shure A81WS, and this is how it sounds. For the live streaming or podcast applications, this is how the Shure SM57 with the Shure A81WS sounds. The output has a weird digital noise if I turn on the noise suppression filter in my OBS Studio software, so I prefer the Sennheiser MKE600 for these kind of applications. For the live streaming or podcasting applications, this is how the Sennheiser MKE600 with the Zoom F3 sounds. The output doesn't have any weird digital noise that is annoying for the audience. And so with the noise suppression turned on, this is my preferred way of recording audio for my live streams or podcasts. This is only possible with a combination of the Sennheiser MKE600 with the XLR audio interface. On top of these advantages, the MKE600 is made for outdoor applications, so you can confidently use it in challenging outdoor conditions as it is super portable. During this trip, I used the MKE600 with the DJI Mic 2 with a massive dead cat to suppress the heavy blow from the wind. The audio recording in those conditions wouldn't have been possible with any other combination, as the DJI Mic 2 was also recording in 32-bit float, so I was able to bring back some peaked audio signals.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, the ultimate viewpoint, the peak and the very end of Khao Lam Ya viewpoint, and it was a very easy walk here, extremely easy. Behind me you can see Koh Samet, a very large island, definitely worth going there. We will dedicate a separate trip to go there because it's very big. We're going to spend a full day or even 2 full days on Koh Samet alone, so stay tuned.
The cost of the overall MKE600 microphone setup could range from $400 with just the DJI Mic 2 transmitter to about $730 with the Zoom F3. Now this part is debatable if this would be the right choice, as it is pretty unconventional for the live stream or podcast setup on top of the studio plus outdoor recording. But the alternative could end up being much more expensive with sound treating the room or buying much more expensive microphones or audio interfaces. With all that said, I hope you understand why the Shure SM57 is the least versatile and requires so much care and gear in achieving the quality sound you may want for your contents. For me, I would go with the other options as they serve me much better. Following the internet isn't always the solution. That's it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching this video and see you in the next video. Peace.